Hey, I recently published a podcast episode on the Inner Work with Steliefti podcast about the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. It's an amazing book, and I just wanted to record a quick video to share my favorite lesson from the book. I share a lot more thoughts all around the experience of reading that book, contemplating that book, and what I've learned from it in the podcast episode, so you can check that out if you're curious after this video. But here's the number one lesson, the biggest thing that stood out to me, or the thing that made the biggest impression on me. Siddhartha, for those who don't know, have never read the book, is a story about a young Indian kid that basically is in search for enlightenment, right? It's a talented, smart, sharp young man that's determined and singly focused really in his life to find the meaning of life and to reach a state of true enlightenment. And throughout the book, it's a beautifully written book, he goes through all these tales, all these different stories, the ups and downs and all the lessons until finally at the end, he may or may not reach enlightenment. I don't want to screw up the book for you. But one main theme out of many, many, many very deep themes in the book is the theme of trying to find the right teacher and the right teachings. And as a young boy, Siddhartha grows up in a very spiritual caste, in a very specific kind of a religion, and he studies that and he masters it very quickly, and that creates a certain lack of satisfaction. He knows this is not gonna be the path that leads me to true enlightenment, and so eventually he breaks away from his family, which is a huge break, and he moves into the woods, and he finds a new religious group, a new philosophical group, new teachers, and he follows those. And then he breaks away from that group as he and his best friend, who's a follower of his basically, hear that the man that people call the Buddha, the enlightened one, is close by and is going to be teaching. And they want to go and see if Buddha is truly enlightened, if he's truly the one teacher, the one that knows the truth, that has reached enlightenment. And as they see the Buddha and he gives a speech and he talks to all his followers and a lot of visitors that came to see him for themselves, Siddhartha realizes that this is the true teacher. This man is truly enlightened. This man has reached the part of the journey that Siddhartha yearns to reach himself. And they happen to run into each other later that day, just one-on-one in the woods, Siddhartha and Buddha, and they have a conversation. And in that conversation, Siddhartha does something unexpected. The book, up until that point, leads you to believe, I believed, that he would want to become a follower of Buddha. His best friend, who followed Siddhartha to all these different teachers and lessons learned and everything, that friend told Siddhartha, this is it, the Buddha, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to become one of his followers. I'm going to dedicate my life to listen to his teachings and to share his teachings with the world. And as Siddhartha runs into the Buddha and starts having a conversation with him one-on-one, he tells the Buddha, I'm not going to become a follower of yours. I've heard your words and they are true. I know you are enlightened. I've never met a man like you before, and I may never meet anyone else whose teachings are more true. But I've realized as I listened to your words and I observed your followers, that you did not reach nirvana and enlightenment by following someone else. You got there by following yourself, by learning your inner teachings, by listening to your inner voice, by going on your own path. And watching your followers, I realized they will not reach nirvana. They will not reach enlightenment by following you. And I would not reach enlightenment by following you. So I'm going to leave tomorrow morning by sunrise. And I'm going to go on my own path. And this is the moment in the book where Siddhartha kind of breaks away from this notion and idea that there is the one true religion or philosophy or teachings, and that there is a teacher, somebody who knows that if he just follows that person, he becomes a student, a pupil, and a follower of that person, boom, then he will learn all the steps it will take for him to get to the final destination that he wants to reach. That's the moment where he realizes that he has to become his own Buddha, his own teacher. And he says, you know, as he walks away in the morning from like the area where the Buddha and his followers are staying, as he walks away and kind of breaks away from that old way of thinking, that old path that he was on his whole life, he says, I've met the Buddha, I've met the enlightened one, the chosen one, and I've lost a great many things. I've lost my best friend, because his best friend, they believed they would be together for life. And he would follow Siddhartha his whole life, wherever Siddhartha would go to learn more and to reach enlightenment. He said, I lost my best friend. I lost my belief in this, that, and the other. I lost a great many deal. But the Buddha has given Siddhartha a gift. He's given Siddhartha the gift of Siddhartha. And to me, that was one of the most powerful moments in that entire book. Maybe if you're somebody like me who has his entire life dedicated to growth, to personal growth, I'm not chasing enlightenment. Maybe I don't believe enough in myself to believe that I could reach enlightenment in this life, but I am chasing expansion of self-awareness, expansion of consciousness, growth. And as such, I have followed many teachings, many teachers. I have read many, many books. I've attended many workshops and seminars. I've studied and learned from many, many people. And over the last couple of years, I've come more and more to the realization that the greatest teacher, the greatest, shaman, as a friend of mine recently said in a shamanic ceremony, is yourself. You have to be your own shaman. You have to be your own teacher. You have to be willing to be your own student. Listen to your inner voice. Hear your own thoughts and follow your own path. And so that moment in the book was a special one for me. It really resonated with me. But there were many, many other things in the book that were lessons learned that I thought were fascinating little tidbits. So if you want to know more, check out Inner Work Podcast with Steli Efti. Check out the latest episode we published about Siddhartha, the book by Hermann Hesse.